Okay, so I've been wanting to make a video on Requiem before launch for a while now, and I've been sitting on it for a while because honestly, I think the game is being very kind of shielded from the public. I think there's a lot of stuff that we have seen that's really good, but there's also a lot of stuff that don't want people to see just yet, which I get. It's the big celebratory, it's the 30th anniversary release. They want to show stuff at launch rather than kind of show stuff too early. But what we have seen is very good, and I do want to go over kind of the main things that are of interest, at least to me. Briefly go over some story beats, and then obviously the main potatoes, the gameplay between the two protagonists in the game. And just kind of share some thoughts on it all, so let's go for it. So briefly, to kind of look at the story, from what we've seen so far, obviously the game has big ties to Raccoon City, and some new disease called Elpis. We don't know much about Raccoon City or the disease yet, other than it seems that the people infected by it keep some kind of humanity. There was a showcase last night, if this video is going up on the right day, and it shows a lot more of the effects of the virus on people who have it, and I'd really recommend checking out the showcase. I didn't put any of the footage from the showcase in this video because half of it was just like collabs like with a Porsche and a watch company, so I'm like, I'll leave it, but do watch it if you have interest. It shows more gameplay of Grace and Leon, and just briefly go more into kind of the mystery of the game. But yeah, so the virus and Raccoon City itself haven't been shown much yet, and I think that's good. I don't want to see too much of Raccoon City before we actually go and see it in game on day one. And with the virus, obviously, it'll be interesting to see how that kind of develops over time. It is kind of out there right now that if you pay attention to the trailers, more recently, at least the newer trailers with Leon in, that it seems he's infected too, in some way or another. And in the showcase there's more footage, and he looks rough at one point, like he looks not too great. So yeah, that's interesting to see. But as far as it's an interesting one, it's more zombies now, rather than like werewolves or mold monsters or ganados or whatever. It's proper, they're basically zombies, which is good. I think going back to Raccoon City and having zombies again is a big move, or at least as close to zombies as they can get again. So in terms of gameplay, obviously dual protagonist game, so Leon and Grace, and again, more information was said about it last night, but I'll try and kind of summarize it here. Is you play as both characters throughout the game. You don't pick which one you play, you kind of play them at certain points. The story kind of links them both together. And you've got Grace, who is more horror focused in her gameplay, so they've said it's more similar to Resident Evil 2 and Resident Evil 7, which is good. So ammo limits, resource management, and a lot of kind of choosing when not to fight enemies and stuff like that. The classic formula, which I do prefer over more combat focused stuff. On top of that, they did mention difficulty briefly. They showed 3, so there's casual, which is like for people who just want to play the story, which is fine. Standard, and then standard classic. Standard classic is definitely what I'm playing on day one, so that is basically your standard difficulty, but with Grace's sections there's increments and you can't save without them. So again, very similar to the original games and the remake of 2 and 3 if you've played those as well. I love that, and I'll be doing that for sure on day one. On Leon's side of things, they've said it's an evolution of the combat from Resident Evil 4. I'd assume Resident Evil 4 Remake is what they mean, because there's a lot of parrying with melee weapons again, and stuff like that. You can sneak, you can crouch, you can do all kinds of stuff that you could do in their 4 Remake, but it just seems to be more improved upon, which is very cool, and the combat does look pretty damn fun, I can't lie. In terms of the game's perspective, as everyone probably knows by now, you can play in first or third, you can switch whenever you want. By the look of it, it seems encouraged to play Grace in first and Leon in third. I'll probably do that first run, and then I'll probably just play third in both, to be honest, after that. Or maybe play one full run as first, one full run as third, and then kind of switch between them. I don't know, but you have the option there, so if you don't like first person games, you don't have to play in first person. If you don't like third person games, you don't gotta play in third person. So everyone's got the option. I've always kind of thought that was kind of like a testing ground thing they made with the 8 DLC, where they gave you the camera perspective, you could change whenever you wanted to. So having that in this game and fully kind of made around it, I don't know if anyone played third person mode in Village, but obviously some of the animations are kind of wonky because the game was made in first person initially, but obviously this game, it's made to be played in both, so it feels more natural to be in either perspective. So in terms of your inventory and inventory management, so again, they do link with how the games worked based on which character you're playing. So Grace has the whole limited inventory with combining items and not a lot of space and stuff like that, which is pretty cool. And then Leon pretty much has the attached case system from Resident Evil 4. There is a merchant in this game, obviously, but they have select weapon parts, so I'd imagine it's kind of going to be like the other games where you find these parts around and you can kind of choose to equip them or not. Kind of similar to how Resident Evil 2 Remake and 3 Remake does it, where you find like stocks and magazines, you can kind of just combine them with the gun to have them equip, or you don't have to do that at all. So it's a simplified version of the whole merchant system in Resident Evil 4. I never expected that to be in this game anyway, so there we go. So yeah, both characters do have quite different playstyles, and I think the game overall is going to kind of be welcoming to people who prefer either. Again, I do much prefer the style of the original trilogy and 7, but I also do enjoy the combat in Resident Evil 4 Remake. I think I will probably prefer Grace's sections on a gameplay level, because again, I like that more, but I'm fairly confident based on gameplay we've seen and stuff like that both characters' gameplay sections are going to be really well made, hopefully. I'm hoping. I'm sure they will be. So that's pretty much all the interesting stuff. Now, leading up to launch, there's a few things I've seen online that I do want to kind of cover at the end of now, and one of them is that there's another character that hasn't been announced yet. That wouldn't surprise me. Honestly, wouldn't surprise me. Who it is, I have no idea. There's 3 currently going around. So there's one that people think is Sherry, and she's kind of Leon's handler in this game. You can hear her voice over like radio in one of the trailers, and it sounds very similar to Sherry from Resident Evil 6, so it could be. Speaking of Resident Evil 6, ever since last night, when the director said that this is a post Resident Evil 6 Leon, and he's still working with DSO, people were kind of assuming that that means that Resident Evil 6 is in fact still canon, and I was like, when was it ever not canon? Like, I don't understand. Apparently it's something to do with the remake timeline and the original timeline. Obviously they're the same timeline, it's just different kind of versions of that timeline. So, you know, 6 is still its own game, so why would it not be? But that was weird. I just want to throw that in there. That was a strange thing to see, that people actually think that 6 isn't canon. Anyway, the other characters, one is Jill, and this is a really weird kind of theory going around that they posted a video on Twitter of her leaving Raccoon City in the 3 remake, and they had a hashtag underneath it saying return to Raccoon City, and everyone was kind of finding it weird how they showed Jill leaving rather than Leon leaving, since he's in the game. Could be nothing, could be something, I don't know. Maybe it would be pretty cool to see Jill back in some way or another, but that's just because she's like my favourite character in the franchise and I kind of want to see her come back, but we'll leave it there. And then the more kind of obvious one, if she wants to be in it, would be Ada, and mostly down to the fact that she's in every game that Leon is in. To be honest, everyone kind of thinks she's going to be in it because he's in it, but I don't know. Who knows? I'd be happy with any of them. The more characters we have from previous games appearing, the better. And it's already nice to see not Chris again. Like, I like Chris. Chris is cool, but he's been in like the past bunch of entries, so yeah, he has a break now, which is nice. But any characters coming back would be nice to see. So I'm welcoming Leon, and anyone else who wants to show up, I'm welcoming them as well. But that's pretty much going to do it. I don't think we're going to see anything too crazy now before launch. There'll probably be one more trailer, at least the launch trailer, that may show snippets of anything new, but other than that, I don't expect much now until the game launches. We're just over a month away, so not too long now. A few weeks and we'll all have played it through. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it very much, and I'm trying to get more videos out now leading up to launch, just in general, not just about Resident Evil 9, and obviously when 9 launches, we're going to be quite busy, so looking forward to that. But yeah, thank you for watching. Leave your thoughts on Resident Evil 9 down in the comments below, subscribe for more Resident Evil content, and as always, I'll catch you guys in the next one.